Hey, right guys, Trace Munches Joe here, and today we are going to be doing part 5 to the TV show tier list where I rank every single TV show that I have seen. It's been a while since we've done a part of this. I did part 4 about a month and a half ago, just because so many shows have come out here, like Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Dharma, The Midnight Club, then I tried out The Watcher, what else? House of the Dragon, The Rings of Power. So I'm not going to add those shows onto this list. We'll save that because I want to do this like a yearly thing. But this year is going to be like the big one because we're adding obviously a shit ton of shows, and then next year will just be like the shows that I've kind of seen in that year and updating any shows that I might have rewatched or had new seasons to. So this is like the big year where we get through everything for the most part. But yeah, I reckon we'll have this part, and then I reckon one more part, and we should have this what would it be, 6-part series done, which I'm looking forward to, just kind of see where everything is. But at the moment I've just skimmed through everything. I'm still pretty happy with where everything is. We might kind of do at the end of part 6 a big rundown on it for like 10 minutes and just rearrange everything that's not really looking up to snuff. But for the most part at this point, I'm happy with where everything is. I've got Lost, Breaking Bad, 24, Better Call Saul and Avatar right there at the top. So yeah, well, let's try and aim for the end of S. There's quite a few S's, which is a lot to get. That's like up to here, but I reckon we can do it. So, Parasite, an anime, one of my favourite animes. I think this is one of those animes where you can watch the first episode and be invested pretty much straight away. I think there are 3 episodes in this show that are 10 out of 10s for me, and then most of the episodes up to that are like 8s or 9s. I remember really, really enjoying this show. I think it takes a bit of a dip in one of the arcs from what I remember, but it's kind of after a couple of major story arcs and episodes, so it's not too bad with it from what I remember. Action's good, characters were fun. So it's kind of like this guy who wakes up and he has this parasite on his hand that can talk. You can kind of see it in the poster here, and he goes around, he becomes buff and starts fighting a load of demons and shit. But it has a really good story alongside with it as well, because if it was just that, I wouldn't put it as high as I'm going to, but there is more to it than that. So definitely give it a go, I'd say. I'm going to put it, where are we going? I'm going to go in Fantastic, but I think towards the bottom. Maybe, I think I preferred Angel Beats for more of the emotional side of it, but Parasite had better animation, definitely. Maybe down towards the bottom, maybe below Fleabag. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, Parasite there. Very good show, check it out. Parks and Rec. I like Parks and Rec. I didn't finish, this is one of the shows I did not finish. I think I got about halfway through season 4 from what I remember. And I really enjoyed it up to that point, but watching season 4, I started to just notice that I wasn't as interested in the characters as I was earlier on. It was starting to get, I feel like Friends and The Office, from what I've seen, they do things to keep it feeling refreshed throughout, and I never really got that with Parks and Rec. And it wasn't as funny as those 2 shows either. And Modern Family as well, which is up there. I felt like Modern Family was better at doing this than Parks and Rec was. Had some really great episodes and some really great romances in there that I was invested in, but it did get to a point where I was like, I've seen enough. And I might go back to it at some point, to be fair. It's not like one of those where I'm like, oh, it was awful, I never want to see any more of it or anything. It's just, I had my fill, and that was enough for me, at least for now. So I'm going to put it in, I don't think it's average. I do think it's better than average, so I'll put it in really good. Maybe, I definitely prefer New Girl. New Girl's way funnier. Maybe it's better than Hollywood, but maybe not as good as Afro Samurai. So maybe there, yeah. Bottom of really good. I think it's definitely, it's worthy of being better than average for sure. So it's something you could put on in the background, I reckon, and have a good time with. Peep Show. Now that's a good sitcom. Very good sitcom. I think it went on for a little bit too long. There are definitely some episodes in the later seasons that like, and I do think the first season is a little bit rough, but seasons 2 to 6, I'd say, are bangers. So funny. Some of the best sitcom I've seen. So I don't think it's as consistent as some of the other sitcoms, just because, like I say, it did go on a bit too long. I never finished it. I think I got season 8, I want to say, and that's when I started to notice that, you know, I'm not as bothered as I was anymore. But it was it season 8? Does it even have 8 seasons? It might have been like season 7 or something. It was definitely one of the seasons that I watched that I was like, I'm not that fussed about. But I'm going to put it in, yeah, maybe, for those who don't know, it's a British sitcom. These two are roommates. One's pretty much up his own arse and the other's just ridiculously stupid. But it is very funny, so I do recommend it. But the first season, it's only about 6 episodes, I think, the first season, so very short, but it's kind of like The Office season 1 in that regard with the US one, where it's like you kind of have to get through that first season. I feel like a lot of sitcoms, to be fair, because then I look at Parks and Rec as well, and I seem to remember that first season wasn't great either, so I feel like Prime Peep Show is fantastic, but then there are some seasons in there that are, I'd say, average, so it evens out to really good, but I'm going to put it maybe here. Better than Death Note, but Gossip Girl I have more fun with, for sure. Gossip Girl's just fun. So I'll put it towards the top of really good. I think that's pretty good. Penny Dreadful. I never finished the show. I think it got... I was watching it live from what I remember when season 2 was airing. And then I think they did a 3rd season, maybe even a 4th season, and I never got around to that. Very weird show. It's got Ava Green in, who I love. I've not seen her in anything in a long time, but I remember really liking her as an actress. She was in the second 300, not even the better 300 film, but she was like the best part about it from what I remember. And then she's in the sequel to Sin City, that's it, which again isn't great, but again probably the best part of it. So Ava Green I really like as an actress, but I've not seen it in a long time. I'd put Penny Dreadful probably in average, honestly. Has Billie Piper in as well? Anyone remembers Rose from Doctor Who? It's a fun show. It has some very strange, weird sequences to it, and I don't remember much about it, to be honest, because like I said, I was watching it live, and so that was back in 2014, 15, I want to say. I'd probably put it better than Outer Banks, definitely. Better than Gossip Girl. Probably there. Yeah. Had some fun moments. I remember the first episode was actually very, very good. So, People Just Do Nothing. Out of all the sitcoms, I feel like this is probably the one that's the least known. It kind of has like a bit of a cult in the UK, but I feel like outside of the UK, it's probably not as well known. Watch this show. It's so funny. It's so funny. The first episode I rewatched, and I think the first episode completely holds up. I'm putting it in... It's only about, I say 5 seasons. That sounds long, but I think there's only 6 episodes a season and like 20, 30 minutes each episode, so it's really not that long. Might even be 4 seasons, so it's very, very short. So funny. It's about these like group of guys on the poster there who try and run their own radio show in their little town or their little city, and it's so bad. Like their radio show is so bad, but they think it's like amazing, and it's the shit they get up to. It's so good. Kind of one of those shows you kind of have to watch like the first episode or 2, and you'll get the idea of what it's going to be about, and you'll be invested or you won't. I'd go... It's funny then, Modern Family, definitely. It's better than Base... this one's hard. This one is hard. I'll put it... It's definitely going in Fantastic. I think I prefer Hill House, but I'd probably put it there. Below Godless, above Bates Motel. I'm happy with that. Maybe below Bates, actually, but definitely better than Narcos. Yeah. Also, I prefer Midnight Master Narcos, so that can go up there. We're going to do a rearrange anyway, but I just kind of spot that one. Plastic Memories, oh my god. 12-episode anime. First couple of episodes, you're like, kind of, where's this going? I think it's around episode 5 or 6 where it really clicked for me. And I was in tears by the end of it. I was in tears. There's a reaction that got blocked. I think it's blocked now, but we did a reaction to the finale of this show. And yeah, I was in tears. That was one of the first times I'd like cried. No, Your Lie in April was the first time I cried on camera, and I think this might have been the second. And then there was Cross Game as well, so 3 animes back to back. I was in tears for, but very, very good show. Very sad. Really like the characters. I will say, other than the romance, which it primarily is, I don't remember much about it. So like there are obviously more characters than just the 2 on the poster here. And I can't remember much about that, so it doesn't leave much of an impression of anything outside of the romance side of it. But I remember really enjoying it. I think it had very low ratings, so I don't think it's maybe as loved as I thought it would be. And maybe if I was to rewatch it, I might not enjoy it as much as I did, because it was one of the first animes I got into. But I'd put it in really good from what I remember, and pretty high up. I'd say better than Kids on the Slope, better than Death Note, better than Peep Show, better than Gossip Girl. Definitely better than Ozark. I don't know why Ozark's even that high. It's probably there. I'm taking Ozark down to there. No, better than Kids on the Slip is better. So yeah, Ozark can go there. Pretty Little Liars, the original. Oh dear. This is kind of how I feel about Gossip Girl. And what was the other one? Oh, we haven't done the Vampire Diaries yet. But actually, the Vampire Diaries is actually quality where I'm at the moment. But the Pretty Little Liars, it gets to a point. Seasons 1 to 3, genuinely really good. I actually really enjoyed those first 3 seasons. And I enjoyed the characters in those first 3 seasons. And the mystery of who A is. Like, who could A be? Like, I felt like I was invested in trying to actually figure that out. Like in Gossip Girl, when very early on you may be kind of invested on who Gossip Girl is. But there comes a point in both of those shows where you just like, I don't care anymore. you're more watching it just because it's fun and you have like certain relationships that you're actually invested in, and you just want to see how ridiculous it can actually get. Pretty Little Lies gets pretty ridiculous. Actually, I seem to remember season 4 being very good as well. So seasons 1 to 4. I need to blow my nose again. So yeah, there are parts of Pretty Little Lies that I'd probably genuinely put in fantastic because it was just so ridiculous. But then there are some trash moments of Pretty Little Lies, and more bad than good, and average and really good. It never had go to tier. Let's not get it twisted on that. But where does it average out to? I think it's better than Glee overall, so it's probably going to be really good. Probably towards the bottom though. I'm thinking. God, we've done another row of really goods. Probably. There were some really funny moments. This is kind of one of those shows where it's like, it's as good as it is in my memory for me. Teen Wolf was the one I was thinking of as well. Just because there's so many ridiculous moments that I just remember pissing myself at. It is a really fun show. For the wrong reasons, I don't think. Like, Spencer's British accent alone, I literally can't get that out of my head. It's definitely better than Orange is the New Black. Probably there. I don't think it's as good as Friday Night Lights, Mr. Robot, because they're like actually good shows. It'd maybe be a bit of a crime to put it above those. So yeah, very good show. I have very fond memories of doing Pretty Little Lies, to be honest, because it did. What did we do that for? Like 3 years, I think. That and Teen Wolf for 3 years, because we started them on the same week. God, good times. Finished them in 2018. So yeah, they were like those two and How to Get Away with Murder, I think, were the first 3 big shows I remember reacting to. I was doing other shows as well, but they were very short, like Sense8 and stuff. But yeah, that was one of the OG reaction series, which is cool. Preacher, I always forget the show exists. I did season 1, and I was doing reactions to it, and then they just blocked every reaction. I was like, okay, well, see you later then. So for that reason alone, trash. Now I remember liking season 1. Doesn't leave much of a lasting memory. I will say it was like okay. I wouldn't say I was blown away by it or anything. So I'll probably say average, maybe better than New Blood. Maybe about there. No, it was better than Cuphead, I'd say. So not as good as American Horror Story. Probably there, yeah. I remember really liking, I think her name was Ruth. She was really cool. Had the guy from Misfits in. So it had some fun moments. Some of the jokes landed. I heard from season 1 onwards, it just kind of dipped in quality, so I never bothered going back to it. I think it's finished now, but it was fun while it lasted. Prison Break. Season 1 is goated. If you were basing it on season 1 alone, top of the top, 100%. I feel like I need to say that every time I talk about Prison Break. It is. Season 1 is one of the best first seasons to a show ever. Every episode, it's like 22 episodes or 24 episodes long from what I remember. Might be 25. And every episode is kind of like, so for those who don't know, I'm sure everyone's seen Prison Break. The main character's brother is in prison, so he gets himself put into prison to break his brother out, basically. And every episode is like something they work towards to make that escape happen. So whether it's like being able to get a hammer, it could be like very simple things, or digging through a wall for one episode, or maybe they need a tea towel for something. You don't know why they need a tea towel yet, but you'll find out like 10 episodes later. I love the first season. I think it's great. However, we are talking about Prison Break as a whole. I think season 2 is very good. I actually really like season 2. Season 3 is just a repeat of Season 1, but worse. It has some good moments, but it is just a repeat of Season 1. Season 4 is pretty average, and then Season 5 is... I reacted to Season 5 when it aired, and in the moment I was like, oh, this is cool seeing Prison Break again, but looking back, Season 5 is pretty bad. So, I'm going with overall, it's going to average out to really good. It's not fantastic, because it kept going after Season 1. I think if they had Season 2 in with Season 1, I'd put it in fantastic. But Season 3, 4 and 5 just didn't really need to happen. It was just milking something that was going on because it was popular. If they just had Season 1 and maybe Season 2, this would be up the top. But as a whole, I'd probably say it's better than Ozark. Maybe there. Better than Kids on the Slope, not as good as Death Note for me. That sounds probably about right. So yeah, I'm happy with it there. What could have been? It's like Dexter. It just went on too long. If Dexter ended after Season 5 or something. Ooh. Prison School, very different to Prison Break. Oh god. This show, oh my god. This is like I remember showing the first episode. Well, I watched it with my mate years ago, and we were pissing ourselves. It's a comedy. It's very self-aware. It knows what it is. It's about these 5 guys in prison, but the prison is owned by a dominatrix. So, I mean, that might give you a kind of idea of what's going on there. And she just abuses these guys, but they're, like, fully into it. It's so funny. And if you just show, like, scenes of this show out of context, you won't even know what's going on. This is one of the funniest shows I've watched. Straight up, it's one of the funniest shows I've watched. I'm putting it in fantastic. I think it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, but so funny. I'm going to say better than Fleabag. Better than Gurren Lagann, yeah. Not as good as Angel Beats, so yeah, I'm happy with it there. I love it. I need to rewatch that show, actually. Maybe it's not as funny as I remember. Maybe it's because I was younger, but that'd be one of those shows maybe I'll rewatch it now and I'll be like, this is not funny at all. So I'm not recommending that show. I'm going off my memory of it, but you could say that about anything, I guess. But that primarily, I'm like, because it is solely a comedy, there's no storyline to that show from what I remember. Sorry if this is caught up a little bit. I'm ill today. My voice is actually dying, and I'm going to be speaking for an hour straight, which is probably not the best idea, but yeah, I'm just blowing my nose and dying off camera. Just know that. Know that I'm doing this through pain for you guys. Like, that is not even accurate. I'm not in pain at all. But The Promised Neverland. Now, this is an interesting one because I've only seen Season 1, and I've heard Season 2 is awful. Season 2 is meant to be awful. I'm never, ever going to watch Season 2. And unless I hear this becomes, in Season 3 and 4, whatever, like the best anime of all time, I'm not going to watch Season 2. So my memory of it is Season 1. And I really enjoyed Season 1. I didn't know anything about it going in. I remember the first episode being very good, especially the ending to episode 1. It gets you invested very quickly, but it did have its ups and downs. I felt like I was never really super invested in the characters, but it was a fun premise. It's kind of like if Prison Break was an anime, I guess, and they were all kids instead of whatever these characters' names were, like bold white guys. But I wouldn't say I loved it as much as a lot of people did, I think, for sure. So where would I go? I'd put it in maybe average. Yeah, I didn't have like an emotional attachment to it. I feel like I was never like... The story was really fun, and there was some episodes and moments in there and twists and turns that were very, very good. But I never loved really any of the characters, like I say, and looking back on it, it's not like one of those shows where I'm like, oh yeah, it's one of the best experiences of my life or something. So I'd probably put it in average, maybe pretty high up. I'd say better than Preacher, better than Horror Story. I'd prefer Heroes, honestly. So yeah, I'll put it there. Rain. I've spoken about Rain so much. I've said this story so many times, but I miss Rain. I wish I was able to do reactions to the entirety of that show, but they are the only people to call me up. It was back when I was doing reactions to it, so 2018-19 was when I stopped, and they were the only people to call me up and tell me, can you stop stealing our content and doing reactions to our show? And I was like, yeah, you know, Sam. And then I remember I would upload a Rain reaction, it would be blocked within 5 minutes. Within 5-10 minutes, it was blocked. So I was like, you know what, whatever. I really enjoyed the show. I think I was on halfway through season 2, and they called me to tell me to stop doing reactions. I was like, okay, yeah. I wonder if they'd still do that now. I wonder if it was like one person who worked there who just hated reactions in general or something, and just couldn't stand the idea of reactions being done to Rain. I do wonder, because I'm sure there are people on YouTube who have reactions to Rain, surely. There are even some of mine that are still up on YouTube, but I was not dealing with that. I was like, yeah, if you're calling my number, sure, bye. So, Rain as a show, though, really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to put it... Which is such a shame. I would have really liked to have finished the show because it's so much fun. Historically, very inaccurate. There's some things people were telling me, like what actually happened versus what the show does. It's like, oh my god. Like, the fact they've got Ed Sheeran playing in the background is still hilarious. Maybe... there. I put Kids on the Slope, but it's better than Ozark, I'd say. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun show. Oh, Riverdale, oh god. Every like 3-4 months, I always have this like thing in my mind where I'm like, should I continue doing reactions to Riverdale? And then I have to tell myself, Joe, because it's so ridiculous. I see some clips of this show and I'm like, oh my god, I want to react to that. It seems so stupid. I want to do reactions to it, but then I remind myself it's Riverdale. You're gonna want to die and kill yourself after about 5 minutes of watching it. So, yeah, I started doing reactions to this show day 1 when the show aired. Day 1, I was there, and then I stopped around season 5. And I'm fine watching the odd clip on Twitter here and there, but it's got to go in more bad than good. It's got to, surely. It's an interesting one because I think it's technically more bad than good, but it leaves more of a lasting impression to me than One Punch Man and 3%. So maybe average. Like, if you're going from entertainment, that's how you got. It's hard to look at, and I am going by entertainment. It is technically trash. Let's be honest. It's technically more bad than good, but I'm putting it in average. So maybe it's better than Outer Banks. Outer Banks is a better made show and a better acted show. That was close, actually. It is not. But Outer Banks is a better made show, but Riverdale's just so dumb. Maybe there. No, I prefer the Gossip Girl reboot, actually. So maybe there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The recent clip I saw was Cheryl floating. She's like Scarlet Witch now, and she's opened up a portal, and they're going into the portal to another dimension. I don't know what's going on. But I love it. I love that they're so self-aware at this point. There was a point where I was questioning if they were self-aware when they had Lucas Scott on a rocket with a cape on, ready to fly to the moon. That was an actual storyline. But now I'm like, no, they are fully self-aware. There's no way they're not. Schitt's Creek, very good sitcom. I always get comments to react to this. I've already seen it, unfortunately. I would have loved to react to this. Very funny, but with a great storyline. It's one of those shows that literally gets better every single season. The final season is incredible. First season's pretty good. So you kind of start at pretty good, and then you end at, like, incredible. I got so invested in these storylines and these characters, so fantastic for sure. I'm going to put it better than Fleabag, yes. Better than Naruto? Oh, Naruto had a load of fillery episodes. Not as good as Black Mirror. Maybe there, I'd say. That looks about right. Yeah. Great show. I really like it. It's on Netflix. I recommend it. 20-minute episodes. Can't go wrong. Scream Queens. It's either trash or more bad than good. There was one character in this that made me piss. It was that Chad guy. He was very funny. Emma Roberts was pretty good. But season 2 was awful. And season 1 was pretty bad. This is what I mean by Ryan Murphy. He can make this, but then make, like, American Crime Story and some of the best scenes of American Horror Story, some of the best moments of Glee, and then some of the worst moments of Glee, and then it makes Scream Queens, and it's like, what? I don't understand how his mind works, but I'm putting it more bad than good. Maybe at least better. Maybe trash. No, I won't say trash because it did make me laugh at times, and there were moments where I was having fun. I can't deny that, but yeah, I'll put it there. Bottom of more bad than good. Scream the TV series. My first experience with Ghostface. How sad is that? How sad is that? I don't even want to go back and watch those reactions again. Not that you can, because I think they're all blocked. But I bet I missed so many references, and I just don't understand. Like, why is that guy making film references all the time? I remember hating Noah because that's all he did. And now I look at Scream, and I'm like, Scream's now my favourite slasher film. I only watched it like the first time 4 or 5 years ago, so it was after I'd watched the TV series, which is wild. But I love Scream, I love Ghostface, and I can't believe I watched the TV series first and missed so much. But it was a fun show. I'd say more bad than good, definitely, but I'd put it at the top. Yeah. 3% is so boring. Why is it there? I'm questioning my own. Oh, we'll sort it. But yeah, I did have fun with the show, but season 3 was awful. Season 3 was so bad. We waited so many years for season 3, and it was trash. I remember like seeing news like season 3's coming, just wait. And we waited for 3 years, and then that's what they came out with. It was bad. People were disagreeing with me on that, but it's not. Watch my reactions to season 3 of Scream. I think they're still up. And tell me that season is not bad. Season 1 was actually pretty good, and season 2 is bearable. So maybe average, but maybe like at the bottom. Maybe there. Better than Girls, yeah. Maybe there. It was okay. Sense8. I did not love this show as much as some people did. I thought the characters were good, but I felt like the story was pretty boring. I didn't even bother with season 2. Pretty well made. I remember it being pretty well made, but yeah, I did not love this as much as some people did. I'd probably put it average. Maybe it's better than One Punch Man, so maybe there. It was better than Girls, actually. I had more fun with this, though, so yeah, it looks about right to me. Sex Education. If this continues as it is, maybe goated. Maybe. I don't know, actually. Goat for me, like, look at what we have here. Lost, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Avatar 24. Like, Ruby and Otis, if they end up together, I will put it in goated. How about that? If Ruby and Otis end up together, goated. But right now it's going fantastic. Probably there. Better than Game of Thrones, actually, where it's at the moment. Very close. In terms of shows that are airing right now, it's not my favourite. There's one other show that's better, but Sex Education is maybe number 2. I love Sex. It's the best show that Netflix has. It's better than Stranger Things, which we're going to get to, but it's better than Stranger Things. It is the best thing that Netflix are doing right now, and I am just rooting that it doesn't drop in quality. If season 4 is going to come out in a few months. If season 4 comes out and it's bad or average, I'm going to be so disappointed, because they've had 3 back-to-back bangers of seasons. There are some things in Sex Education that I don't love, for sure. Like, I hate what they did with Eric in season 3, for example. There are even like 2 or 3 episodes of the show's entirety that are kind of bland or boring, but I look at it as a whole and I just love those characters so much. I love the stories that it tells. I love the romances that it has, and it's just fun. And it has Gene. It has Gillian Anderson in the show. That alone. Yeah. Maybe could be like goated. I don't think it'll be as good as these 5, honestly, but I'm gonna have to wait till it ends to decide. And Hunter x Hunter is better, by the way, but yeah, very, very close. Shadowhunters. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I feel like I always say this about Shadowhunters, but the storyline is bad. The storyline to Shadowhunters is pretty bad for the most part. I don't think there was any storyline in this show that I was like in love with. However, However, and people shit on this show and give it like 1 out of 10s, and I get it. I love these characters. It's one of the few instances, I think, where I genuinely at least like every single character of the main cast, of course, not including some of the little side characters. The main cast and the main side characters, I pretty much like all of them. There are times where I like don't like certain times. I need to blow my nose again for the 4th time, so apologies. Yeah, there are definitely times where like they annoy me or I don't like them, ups and downs. But it's only 3 seasons, so it's not like super long, and I feel like the relationships are pretty good in the show as well. It ranges from pretty good to amazing, like, you know, Alec and Magnus. God, I've not heard or seen anything of Alec and Magnus in about 3 or 4 years. This show is not talked about anymore, I feel. But I'm going to put it in... It's not fantastic, simply because the storylines are pretty bad. But I'm going to put it there. Top of really good. I feel like if the characters were not as great as they are, it would be like way down in average. But the characters are that good that it goes all the way up to really good. I can't put it in fantastic just because the storylines aren't great. Honestly, they're really not. But it was a very fun show. I actually really liked it. Shameless. Oh my god. Bro, season 4 of this show is, if we were doing season by season, which maybe we should do one time, like season by season of certain shows would be kind of cool. Not all of these shows that would be here for 50 years, but season 4 of this show is goated. Goated. One of the best singular seasons to a show that I have ever seen. I go back and rewatch scenes from that season, like the bit where Lip's just going off at Fiona. You got Fiona just breaking down in the prison. You got Frank like dying, and the scene where he like looks around and he has like his Viserys moment from House of the Dragon where he's just appreciating what he has, which he never does. Carl was pretty cool. From Ian and Mickey. Season 4 is so good. Season 1, pretty good. Season 2, pretty good. Season 3, great. Season 4, one of the best seasons of TV I've ever seen. And Season 5 was pretty great as well. And then I stopped at Season 6. So I've heard it ends pretty poorly. So it's not made me want to fully jump back into it yet. But I feel like I will. I always say Shameless and Buffy are the 2 shows that I feel like I will go back to and finish reactions to at some point. They're the 2 that always come to my mind because I loved Shameless. And this is based on what I've seen. Based on what I have seen, I would put it there. Yeah. I love it. I love Shameless. I really miss it. I really do miss it. I need to go back to it. But I have heard it really dips in quality, kind of where I was at anyway, so I'm not like jumping to like get back into it because I don't want to. My memory of it right now is it's one of the best shows I've ever reacted to, and I feel like if I continue that and finish the show, which I probably will do at some point, it's no longer going to be that. It's going to be the show that was incredible and then became this kind of okay, decent show. I don't think people have said it turns to utter shit, but oh, my memory of it's so good. I kind of want to preserve that memory of Shameless. Buffy, however, I've heard just is quality all the way through, so I have no worries getting back to that at some point. Scam, we have like 4 scams here, so I'm going to probably jump through 3 of these. We've done Druck already. Yeah, we did Druck already, so that was Scam Germany. Original Scam, amazing. I wouldn't put it... there would have been a time where I probably would have put it in Goated. When I was fully into like the Scam fandom, I would probably say it was Goated. However, looking back, I don't think Season 1 is great. Season 2 for me, I still adore. I used to get so much shit for preferring the romance in Season 2 to Season 3 with Wilhelm and Nora, but I used to get so much shit. I just get like Vietnam flashbacks to the amount of comments I would have to read about preferring Season 2 to 3. But Season 3, so Season 2 for me was a 10 out of 10 and probably still is a 10 out of 10. Season 3 was also a 10 out of 10. That was the thing. It's like I gave them both 10 out of 10s. And then Season 4 is like 8. I see Season 1's a 7. 2 and 3 are 10s, and then season 4 was like an 8, maybe a high 7. So looking at it as a whole, I'm not going to put it in goated. There definitely would have been a time where I would have, but I will put it at the top of fantastic. Definitely, maybe there. Yeah, we'll put it right at the top of fantastic. I still have a lot of love for Scam. I really, really do, and I'm glad they ended it at 4 seasons. I felt like Scam was one of those shows where it became it was popular all the way through, but it became really, really popular around when it was ending, from what I remember. And it would have been very easy to continue to do more seasons, like 5 or 6 seasons. I'm very actually glad that. And again, I was one of those who were saying like, "Oh, we should have another season of Scam," but they ended it at the perfect time and in a perfect way. I feel like it could just be this like little show that existed that was that stopped when it needed to. So yeah, a lot of love for Scam, and I'm happy it ended where it did. Scam France, they're still doing this. I think they're on like season 8 or something. I'm not sure. I think this is out of all of them the one that's still airing. Oh, I did not just read. That's Scam Austin, bro. Okay, that's Scam Austin. Very different. Let's get there. Okay, everything I said was meant for this poster here. So yeah, good thing I noticed that one. But okay, so Scam Austin. Okay, we'll do Scam France first. Jesus, jumping all over. Scam France. Season 1 and 2 were air, from what I remember. Season 3 was very good, and season 4 was okay, from what I remember. I think I did season 5 as well. Season 5 was the first season that obviously went past original Scams, and it was about the Arthur, I think his name was, who was death. I thought that season was very good. I did season 6 as well. I'm trying to remember like which seasons were in which show, but I did season 6 as well, and that was pretty good. So I'd say Scam France, probably very good. Not as good as Druck. I feel like Druck really nailed its 3rd season. But season 1 and 2 of both Scam France and Druck weren't great. So maybe better than Druck, actually. I think season 3, Druck... Okay, the better season of both shows goes to Druck with season 3. However, Scam France... Seasons 3, and it had 5 and 6, which is what's boosting it up. 5 and 6 Druck did not have, and 5 and 6 of Scam France was actually pretty decent. So I'd say better than Money Heist. Not as good as Heartstopper though. I preferred Heartstopper, and Orange is the New Black is, yeah, I'd say it's better than that. So yeah, we'll put Scam France in really good. Scam Austin. I was rooting for this show. A lot of people pasted this show. I don't know why. I don't know. I think I can see why at times, but I really enjoyed Scam Austin. I think I can see why it's people's weakest. And what happened to Scam Austin, by the way? I thought it kind of ended at the end of season 2, and then just nothing was to be seen of it ever again. So it kind of disappeared into nothingness, I guess. But yeah, I really liked Scam Austin. It was very similar to OG Scam. Like, there were times where it's like frame for frame the same thing. I don't know where I'd put it. I'd still put it in really good, honestly. I can see why people didn't like it as much as I did, but I enjoyed it. I think the characters were really fun. They weren't all that likable, some of them, but I think for the most part they were pretty good. So maybe not as good as Druck. Maybe there. Yeah, I like Scam Austin. Scam Italia, that was my favourite of the remakes for sure. I really liked Scam Italia. I felt like the cinematography was what really boosted this one above the others. The others kind of had like a TV feel about them. Like Scam Austin was on Facebook and it did kind of have that feel about it, whereas Scam Italia felt like it had a bit more passion given to it. Not so much to do with the acting, just with the camera work. I felt like it had more passion about it, and I think honestly it did have a boost in the acting as well. So I'd put Italia probably at the top of really good. I think they just released... I never finished it. I think I got season 4, and I think they've released season 5 since. So I guess they're doing seasons of original content now. Are they? I think so. I don't know. I don't know what the new season's about. Let's go with... not as good as Euphoria. It was really good, though. It was really good. It was really good. Maybe there. I really like Scamatai. It was a good one. That's all the scams. I knew we had that big bulk to get through. Everything I said about scam, I stand by, and then everything below that's just kind of scam, but not as good. I remember I did a series where I'd compare like the first episodes to every one of them and which one was better and stuff. So like from what I remember, like season 1 of Italia was better than OG Scam. Season 1 of this was definitely better than season 1 of this, from what I remember. But then, like, Scam just so good. Alright. Skins. Skins. We'll get the S's done, and then I'll probably leave it there, so we'll get up to Supernatural. Skins. My sister put a dark memory in my head. She told me all my love for Skins is solely based on nostalgia. And part of me thinks she is right. Because I see clips of Skins pop up from time to time, and I'm like, that acting's pretty bad. I don't remember that character. I feel like my memory of Skins is better than if I was to go back and watch it. She said it, and I feel like she's right, which scares me. So I've kind of not gone back to watch it in years. About over 10 years since I watched Skins. So my memory of it, though, 4 and 5, seasons 4 and 5. Seasons 5 and 6 are bad. Let's get that out of the way. Seasons 5 and 6 are more bad than good, is where it would be. Seasons 3 and 4 are fantastic, and seasons 1 and 2 are fantastic. So it evens out to probably really good, but I don't want to put it there. I want to put it in fantastic. Let's put it at the bottom of fantastic, like maybe here. If I hadn't watched seasons 5 and 6, it would be so much higher than that. It really would. But seasons 5 and 6 were just... They weren't bad. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. They weren't great. So yeah, Skins can go there. Snafu, my teen romantic comedy. This show was great. They did it at season 3, I think. And I never watched that. Because it was like 8 years later. It was so long. But it's this guy... And all 3 of these have a crush on him. And I remember debating with my mate. Is like he preferred someone else I should be with, and I was with someone else, and big wars were happening. We had like thumb wars over it and everything. It was a dark time. But no, there's a lot of fun. It's kind of just your slice of life. I mean, it's very in the title. It's just a romance comedy. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd probably put it. I need to watch season 3. Need to see if my romance has any more scenes. Because it ended in a place where I was like, no. And then we just had to wait 5 years. Not as good as Parasite. Not as good as Skins. No, maybe it's really good. Yeah, maybe... No, not that high up, God. Not as good as Plastic Memories. Yeah, we're going down a bit here. Kids on Slay was better. It was better than Rain, though, so maybe there. Yeah, it was better than Rain. Pretty good show. I do recommend it. So The Society. Why did this show get cancelled? This is the Netflix show that I just don't understand. Because not because it was like amazing. I don't think it was amazing. But I felt like it was really popular. I felt like a lot of people were watching the show and were invested in it. And then it just got cancelled. It was gone. And it ended in a place where I can't recommend the show to anyone because you don't get any answers. Season 1 ended where it was like, okay, we're going to start to give you some answers now, and then we never got season 2. So I can never recommend the show to anyone. I can never recommend any show that got cancelled to anyone, really, because you never get a full story. I'd say average. Had some really... I remember there was one episode that was really, really good, really great, but the characters were good. For those, it's kind of all these group of teenagers go on a bus, from what I remember, and then that bus... They get put in the same city they lived in, but none of the parents or adults are there. So it's like Lord of the Flies, kind of feel like they start to make their own rules and stuff, and some bad dudes in there. It was a pretty good show. I'd probably put it maybe there. I thought, yeah, maybe really good. No. because we're now going to season 2 and that dampens it. Sons of Anarchy. I love the show. I rewatched it about 2 years ago. It does have some slow moments in there, and it does have some like unlikable characters, but they're meant to be. But it's like you root for them 1 minute and then you don't the next. I think this show would be better if it wasn't 13 episodes a season. I think if this was 8 to not even 8, maybe 10. I think if you just shaved off a little bit of each season, it would be maybe not goated, but definitely top of Fantastic. I'm still going to put it in Fantastic because I actually really like Sons of Anarchy, to be fair. I think Jax is such a good character. Really, really good character. And some really great side characters. Gemma is, oh my god, I can't stand that woman. But even she's like, actress-wise, very good. She plays that annoying role. It's like Skylar in Breaking Bad. It's like, yeah, she's annoying, but Anna Gunn is incredible in Breaking Bad. She does not... I saw a tweet that kind of mentioned Anna Gunn does not get enough credit from Breaking Bad, and she really does not. Anna Gunn is incredible in Breaking Bad. That needs to be pointed out. But the actress plays Gemma, kind of same feel, where it's like, I hate her. But actress very good. So, Banshee, it's better than Banshee, I'd say. Better than Full Metal. Maybe here. There are some, season 3 primarily kind of falters. It's where they go to Ireland. It's about a biker gang for those who don't know. But season 7, my memory of season 7 was that it was too long, and it is. Because each episode is like an hour to an hour and a half. It's way too long. But it does pay off. I feel like the show really pays off, which is nice. And every season kind of has like a big payoff moment, which not many shows can pull off. So I really like Sons of Anarchy. I'll definitely recommend it. My second rewatch of it was actually better, to be fair. So The Sopranos. Now, I'm not going to put this as high as I think I will when I rewatch it, because this is on my to-watch list. Because I watched seasons 1 to 4, I want to say. But over 10 years ago. It was a long time ago when I watched the seasons. And I didn't appreciate it as much as I feel like I will when I rewatch it. So do take that into account. And I'm going to rewatch it. Hopefully, I'm on the final season of The Wire now. The Wire's somewhere here. So I'm on the final season of The Wire. And I feel like The Sopranos is my next show that I need to give another shot to. I still really enjoyed it. I just don't think I loved it as much as I will, knowing what I know now. So take that into account. I'm going to put it towards the bottom of Fantastic. And this is based on my memory of it 10 years ago when I wasn't even really fully into it. So I know this is going to shoot up. Watch this time next year, I'll come back and be like, yeah, guys, I hated it. I didn't really understand the hype. This is also coming from someone who doesn't love The Godfather, which this is taking a lot of inspiration from. I don't love The Godfather. The Sopranos I really, really enjoyed. So, maybe there. Better than Angel Beats, but I had more fun with How to Get Away with Murder. Take everything into account what I said, because I know that's not technically meant to be there. This is either meant to be at the top of Fantastic or even goated. That's where I see that show being. But as of right now, it's still in Fantastic. So, Spartacus. God, this had some terrible CGI and some terrible acting from what I remember. But more bad than good. Probably at the top of it. Had some fun fight scenes, but the green screen just took me out of it. I remember every time I was watching an episode of this show, the green screen was so bad. It really took me out of the show, and I could not get invested in it. So, more bad than good. I've not much to say about that show, honestly. Squid Game. It's not the most viewed Netflix show anymore. I think the Dharma, which we'll talk about next year, because I've watched that during this, but Dharma took that crown, I think, as the most watched Netflix show. But this did have it for a little while. Very good show. I think it showed too much in season 1. I wish they left a bit more mystery, which I said in the reviews. Looking back at the twist in the finale, I don't think that was that good of a twist. However, the acting is amazing. The main actor from this show won an Emmy, which is cool. I don't agree with him winning that. I think there were better performances, but he won an Emmy for it, which was great. So the acting's great. The colour scheme was great. The games were fun. The villain wasn't great, but he was interesting until they started to reveal too much. So yeah, very fun show is what I will say, and a very well acted show. I felt like a show like this, given less of a budget, I feel like they didn't even have that big of a budget. It's just he knew where to spend the money, which is good. But if you took out the VIPs from this and left a bit more mystery around it, I think this could have been in the top of Fantastic. But as of right now, I'm going to put it in... Still in Fantastic, but I think towards the bottom. Season 1 was really good. I had a lot of fun with it. Made me cry. Made me cry. How many shows can do that? In terms of live action shows, I feel like I cry more at animated from from shows that I've seen on here at least. Scam made me cry. Squid Game made me cry. Bonus points for making me cry. I'll put it maybe there. Better than Daredevil, not as good as Modern Family. Two very different shows. But yeah, I'm excited for season 2, but optimistic because if season 2 comes out and it's like average, it's going to go down to really good. I feel it's just I don't know what they can really do. Probably just the same stuff. It's going to be like new games, obviously new games, but a new group of characters. But there's not much of a mystery to it now. Like we know how they get there, we know what it's about and why it's done and who made it. It's like okay. Wish they kind of left that stuff. Steins Gate. The first time I watched this show, I did not like this show. I remember that. I was like, it was boring. The characters are boring. I don't get it. Second time, great, really great. I don't want to say I won't give it as high as a lot of people do, but I'm glad I gave it that second chance because from what I remember, I really did not enjoy it the first time around. And maybe it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. I just felt like everything went over my head. It is a show you have to pay attention to. It's about like time travel and all that good stuff, but time travel done very well, I will admit. And maybe I just was not paying enough attention the first time around. So I'm very happy I gave it another chance. I wouldn't say I didn't love the characters, and I still didn't love the storyline, but it was very unique in what it was trying to do, and it did it very well. Not many shows. Again, Lost is at the top, and I think Steins Gate does time travel better than Lost does. I will admit that. So I'll put it up for Skins, up for Modern Family, up for Squid Game, for Daredevil, for Making a Murderer. I'll put it there. Bottom of Fantastic. Yeah. Right, what we got left? 4 left. Stranger Things. Now this would have been in a very different spot if we didn't just get season 4, and season 4 was maybe even the best season that they did. So yeah, I would have put this in really good. I felt like it was starting to kind of... I don't know, my love for Stranger Things was fizzling out. I felt like it was for everyone, though. I felt like everyone was just kind of like, okay, can we wrap this show up? And we are getting the final season next, which is good to know. Season 4 came out, though, and it was a banger, I will admit. So it kind of... He's taken it from the top of really good to back in fantastic. I felt like it started in fantastic, stayed in fantastic, went down to really good, and now it's back in fantastic again, which is nice. So... I'm going to put it... season 4 has boosted this up a lot, actually, because I'm going to put it... Maybe here? Yeah. I'd put Godless and Black Lagoon and Haunting of Hill House, definitely. But Stranger Things... I feel like if Stranger Things had just ended at season 1, it probably would have been at the top of Fantastic. And season 4, I'd say, is top of Fantastic, but seasons 2 and 3, I'd say, are really good. I don't think season 2 and 3 are bad, but not as good as 1 and 4. And in the moment, I loved season 3, I felt like, but looking back, I was like, okay. Season 3 is really good, to be fair. I felt like season 2 is the one that faltered a bit. I don't know, I feel like it is very consistent, but I'm jumping a lot around with this show. I need to rewatch seasons 1 to 3 because it has been a long time, but season 4 banged. So, yeah, towards the top of Fantastic. Alright, I want to save Succession, so I'm going to do Suits. Suits, episodic, which I don't like, but very likeable characters. Actually very funny. Actually a very funny show. I've rewatched this maybe 3 times. I always get to season 4. I don't know why. I always watch seasons 1 to 3, and then half of 4, and then I feel like I've had enough. I've done that 3 times. Yeah. it does start to become a bit samey. It's like, okay, we get it, we get it. Good lawyer show though, good comedy, good romances. They have some romances in there that I really do like. So I put it in fantastic. Maybe we've got a lot in fantastic, a lot more than I thought I would. Hey, there's a lot of good TV out there, that's for sure. Maybe it's better than I thought it was actually. So I'm comparing it to some of these. How to Get Away with Murder. That's an interesting one because they're kind of similar actually. In some ways. Do I prefer Suits or How to Get Away with Murder? The characters in Suits are way better than How to Get Away with Murder, but Viola Davis is better than anyone from Suits. So it comes down to the storyline, and How to Get Away with Murder storyline's better. So not as good as Sopranos. I'll put it there. Yeah, very fun show. And Supernatural. Yeah, I did what I'm going to do with Grey's Anatomy with this show, where I said I'm going to react to one season at a time, and I reacted to season 1, and I was like, I've had enough. Supernatural. I thought season 1 was very okay, or too good. There were episodes that were really really great. Then there were some stinkers. The episodes did range, and this is the problem with episodic episodes. It's just you do get some stinky episodes. For sure. You had an episode about some bugs flopping around, like, come on, bro. I'll say average. This is based on season 1. I've not watched much of Supernatural in the grand scheme of things, so probably there. American Horror Story is better, so season 2 of American Horror Story is better than that. Alright, Succession. Now, I'm going to put it where I'm going to put it, knowing that is the only one that's going to be there that hasn't finished. So I've kind of already spoiled where it's going to go. This was the show I was on about. That is the only show airing other than Sex Education that is incredible. Incredible. It does take a few episodes to really get into. I think episode 5 of season 1 is where it really clicked for me, which is half of the first season, so it is quite, that's like 4 hours that you kind of have to get through. And don't get me wrong, those 4 hours are not bad. They are not even close to being bad. But I remember watching this, I've watched this 3 times now in this year alone. I started in January, I think, or maybe December last year. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is good, I think the dialogue's amazing. And then season 5 hits, and I'm like, boom. And then I just steamrolled through 3 seasons of it within like 2 weeks, which is quick for me. I know it's not quick for everyone, but these characters are so, they go from so unlikable to like, you want to protect them and you die for them very quickly. Very, very quickly. The acting is some of the best I've seen in any TV show ever. I think the storyline is very consistent. Like, even though they do... It's an interesting show because they have like storylines that will go on for ages, and then they'll wrap it up within like 5 minutes, which I find so interesting. There's no like prolong, when the storyline needs to wrap up, they will wrap it up like that. I've clicked like 5 times to get my point across. But they don't delay certain storylines. I mean, I guess you could say the overarching story of who is going to take over in the Succession is like the main thing, but it's not. It's a family drama. The comedy is so funny. It's one of the funniest shows I've seen for sure. I love Shiv. I have such a crush on Shiv. Like, I can't even explain. And Kendall, to be fair, and maybe even Logan, and maybe even Tom and Greg and all of them, honestly. But Shiv especially, I love Shiv. Shiv alone makes it in goated, but I'm so excited for season 4. I can't believe I'm in like that pool now where it's like there's a show that is airing that I have to wait for. House of the Dragon, I feel like, is going to be that as well, but where I'm like, I need that next season. There's not many shows. Even Sex Education, I'm not like, oh, I need the next season of Sex Education, and look how high it is. I think the only other shows I feel like that are with is Succession. And maybe House of the Dragon, depending how it ends, but I've got 2 episodes of that left. Yeah, it's going in goated. I'm not going to put it... I put it below everything else just because it is still airing. So maybe that could drop, but every episode brings something to the table, and it is a show that if you rewatch, I enjoyed it more the second time I watched it, which not many shows can do. There's stuff you pick up on more the second time around for sure, and there's stuff you get more excited for, and it's I don't know. I think this is a show that you definitely have to rewatch, and out of everything that I've done in this part, that is the one I'm going to recommend. However, give it until episode 5. It comes across as a show that you might not be interested in. I looked at it from the outside before I started it, and I was like, oh, okay, it looks like a old people show. They're doing like documentation and talking about things. It is all dialogue, that's all you're going to get. But the dialogue is so well written. It's so well written. The cinematography, oh my god. The music. I have like, maybe 5 to 7, I can't check, but 5 to 7 tracks on Spotify just from the music, and it's all like piano and shit. I love it so much. What else? Oh, the actor who plays Tom won an Emmy for Best Supporting Actor. Shiv did not win, or Sarah Snook did not win for Best Actress, which I was very upset about. Who did that go to? For me, it was like it should either be her or the actress who plays Kim in Better Call Saul, and none of them won. So I was very, very upset about that. But she should have won. Shiv's amazing in it, but because I'm a bit biased with some of the characters. But Tom, the actor who played Tom, did win, which is great. And I can't recommend Succession enough. It's on Now TV if you're in the UK, HBO. Yeah, I wish. Oh my god, I wish I had done reactions to this show. I'm so sad. It's one of those shows I'm like, why did I not react to this show? I should have known. I felt like because when it really clicked, it was episode 5, and by then it's like I've seen 5 hours of content. Is there much point doing reactions to it, kind of thing? But it was quite nice to have a show that I just watched in my own time, to be fair. Because it's like I'm watching The Wire at the moment, and I love it, but no part of me has been like, oh, I wish I'd done reactions to The Wire. There's too many slow moments. Whereas Succession, I would have loved to have done it. I don't think it even would have done very well, but I would have just liked to have done reactions to it. So, yeah, out of everything, Succession, go watch it. Other than that, I'd say everyone's seen Sex Education, so I'm not going to recommend that. Shameless, I can't recommend, because I'm not. Well, I could recommend because I've not finished it, but Sons of Anarchy is a lot of fun. It's kind of like Banshee for me, where okay, the storylines aren't incredible, but it's just a lot of fun. It knows exactly what it is, and the acting really does hold it up. And it does. I think season 4 or 5 is amazing. There's one of those seasons in there that I'd give a 10 out of 10 to. Maybe not 10, maybe like a 9 out of 10. There's a couple of seasons in there. People Just Do Nothing. If you want a good comedy, check it out. Very, very good. I think it's on Netflix. Oh, it's definitely on Netflix. What else we got? Maybe that's it. I mean, everyone's seen Scam. Well, maybe not actually. I think everyone who's watching this has probably seen Scam. Because that's one of the most popular reaction series on the channel, so I'd assume so. So yeah, my recommendation this time around is Succession. Alright, I reckon one more part, and definitely one more part, we'll get all that kind of wrapped up. So we did quite a few there, but I'm happy with all this at the moment, like I say. This might be the odd one I'm going to look at and probably change it around, but we've got a couple more in the More Bad Than Goods this time with Spartacus and Scream Queens, which I'm very fine with. Scream TV series, some more averages. There's a lot more fantastic shows than I thought there was going to be, so maybe I need to take some of them out, because I don't like that. I like that the goated at the top is very sacred. We only have 6 in there, which I like. I like that. I don't want that to pass more than 10. I mean, if there are 10 goated shows, then it's going to pass 10, but I quite like that it's a small amount. Yeah. And honestly, I would argue 2 of those technically shouldn't be in there. Lost and 24. But this is where the bias comes in. I'd say as of right now, only if you go and buy IMDb ratings or whatever, it's Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul and Avatar, and maybe Succession. But this is the best thing about it being my list is Lost and 24 can be in there. I bet for everyone else, Lost would be so down in average. I don't give a shit. Oh, 24's so good, bro. Is so good. I love 24. I could do a whole video on why I love 24. I'm not going to do it right now because we'll be here all day, but I need to wrap this video up. Watch 24. Lost, my beloved. Alright. What we got left? Toradora, I'm so excited to talk about. I'm not going to spoil what I love. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I'll see you for the final part next time. Until then, take care. Peace.